You're
And we're
awake,
live.
and we're back.
Hello.
Welcome back to us talking,
Chit chat.
chit chatting along, shooting the breeze, chewing the fat.
Well, that's like my least
That's
favorite
your least
part
favorite
of
one?
the animal.
Yeah,
The
you don't
hair.
like to chew the fat in any sort of the.
I really, really don't. I'm not a huge fan of meat in general.
And fat just makes it worse.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's it's real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
So in that,
Okay.
with not liking meat, so to speak, or whatnot, are you reluctant to try new foods?
No, not
Okay.
typically. Unless they're stinky, then I'm a little bit reluctant if it's
Yeah.
stinky.
Yeah.
But
Understandable.
but no, not you usually.
See, that's like opposite for me.
Huh.
I'm always reluctant to try something new. Because you'd be like, oh, I thought about trying this. Do you want it? No. I'm just
Nah,
like,
I'm good. I'll
no,
stick with the
no, I'm good.
use.
I know what works. I know what I like.
Uh-huh.
But inevitably you make it. I keep my mouth shut. And
Right.
inevitably you make it and it's delicious. But I'm
Yeah.
always like super reluctant to try like new foods because I'm just like, well, what if I don't like it? And then we have food that I don't like that I
Then
will
you
eat
just eat
anyway.
something else.
No, I'll eat it anyway and just not like it.
I'm saying like if it's gross and we both don't like it, I feel like I can see skin on my nose.
Yeah, but
Then we just
even if we don't both like it, I get you a drink and we both don't like it and I'll still drink it.
yeah, I just don't. It's not worth it for me. You only live one life.
Yeah, but
I'm
I
not
mean,
in.
with the upbringing of like you got to clear your plate type of thing,
No, I get that.
not wasting stuff,
No, I
like
fully understand that.
cannot just like pew, into the trash. So, hey,
Uh-uh. I've had
if it
so
serves
much
me.
like disordered brain thinking when it comes to food.
Hmm.
No, I'm not wasting calories on something that I don't like. That's if it's gross, I'm not wasting calories on
Yeah,
it.
I need to get to that point
Mm-mm.
and
Like
just
I just,
say
it
nope.
is not worth it. I would rather spend the money to find out that I don't like it and then just know that I won't eat
Yeah,
it
yeah, I need to get there one of these days.
one of these days.
Was there anything that you've been reluctant to try of something new?
Mm,
Anything that gave you pause, like you just didn't know where to like you wanted to try it new, but you're like, but it's new, I don't know.
I think like when we were in Thailand, durian. I
Yeah.
really wanted to try durian, but also like it was stinky.
Hmm.
And we've talked about it before. Like there was no place to actually get it and
Right.
cut it and eat it
Oh yeah, our
without
hotel
it.
said, no, 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 we'll fine you.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
the buses said, no,
yeah.
no,
And
no,
public
you'll
transportation.
get a fine. Like, there really
Not
was.
even cut, like just whole. If you brought it onto the bus or if
Right.
you brought it into the hotel, you had a cleaning
Well,
fee.
it smelled like hot, wet onions, so.
Yeah, it smelled like real bad sweet BO. But I really wanted to try it because some people love it and some people
And
hate it.
we could have bought it when it was already cut, but
Right. But the lady who did our vaccinations was like, don't eat things that are
we should have lived on the edge.
pre-cut. No, that's
Could have lived on the
we
edge
took some extra
of
kinds
the
of
seat.
medicine that she prescribed for us just in case we did get a travel bug. Um,
We didn't. Well, we did. We want to keep traveling. However,
oh,
but we didn't get like a bug, a stomach
we
bug.
got like the travel bug, like got bit.
Right.
But no, we didn't get sick. I just didn't want to get sick.
Yeah.
So
Well, what about outside of food?
outside of food.
Like outside of just in general, like is there something that you've been reluctant to try? Something new that you've been reluctant to try? Like you've wanted to try it, but look kind of like, I don't know.
Um No, I mean, I was not reluctant, just I really wanted to start like designing stuff.
Hmm.
But I wasn't like reluctant. It was more of just the time
Uh-huh.
that it takes
But there was
to
a
just
little bit
like
of
do
barrier.
everything
Yeah.
in needed to link everything together and all that.
Right. There was a little bit of
So
barrier of like learning the softwares and the stuff to like link everything
yeah,
together and whatnot. But
I kind
we asked
of
for help and we got through it.
yeah, I kind of part of me says, well, maybe you should go back to school. And I was like, okay.
Uh-huh.
One, I really did not like school. I liked parts of school, like I liked the social aspect of school.
Uh-huh.
And it's not that I wasn't intelligent. It's just it was difficult. I worked really hard um to
Well,
do pretty okay.
right. And
Um
maybe it makes it harder that you're one, a people pleaser, and two, a super high anxiety test taker.
yeah,
So I think both
I
of
have a really
those
hard time.
coupled together
I
makes hard for like doing school because there's a lot of tests.
I failed my SATs. Um I
That's
had
not a pass fail test.
no, it kind of is. Um I had recently been in an accident. Um and so I was on like recently, like the day before, 2 days before, and I was on some pretty high um, painkillers, and um, like I was T-boned and like shoved over to the other side of the road, and yeah, it was really bad. But I'm alive. But I was on some pretty heavy duty
Mhm.
painkillers, and and then it was time for me to take my SATs. And what I didn't know was that the SATs, they only grade you out of, so let's say there's 100 questions. If you only answer 50, they grade you out of that 50, not out of the 100. So it's not like if you don't answer, I thought it was like a normal test. Like if you don't
Right.
answer it, you miss it.
Hmm.
And I did not know that. Or did not remember that
Right.
in the mental state that I was in. And so when I went in there, I answered every single question. Every single question.
Were you even looking at the problems before you
Yes.
answered?
Mm-hmm. Sure was. And if I
Well, that's
didn't know
good.
them, I was like, cool, can I make a cute diagonal zigzag out of this?
That sounds like you.
And so so when I got it and it was like 790, I was like, whoa, I got my name right. So I got my name right. But yeah, it was not good. It was not good. Um,
Did you know that you could take it another time and they would just take your best score?
yeah, but at that time it was just there was already
There was a lot of stuff.
I am not a great test taker. I really am not. If I could have a conversation with someone or if I could explain it, I don't know, like if I could show it to you, if we could just talk about it, I could tell you. But
Hmm.
once it's like sit down, take this, there's a time, I just like I get I do it at like a restaurant too all the time. They'll be like, "Do you know what you want?" I'm like,
Yes, Buffalo
yes.
Clucks and
Mhm.
Fries. Every time.
Yeah. I will look
I
at
want
it.
something new this time. Thinking about this burger. How about this sandwich? What would you like? Buffalo Clucks and Fries.
Yeah. There's that at like every
And
restaurant.
then I'm like, babe, you said you were wanting to try something new. I know, I panicked. Dang it.
Yeah. Once I find something, it's like safe and then I'm like, "Oh, I want to try something new." And then no. No. Like, I have the thing that I eat at each place. And
Or
the thing is, I don't not like other food. It's just that I panic. I get there and I'm like prepared. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have this one right here. And then she comes, I'm like, and then I just blurt out whatever I normally get at that place.
and then sometimes it's as soon as they walk away, dang it, I wanted something different.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Anywho,
I can look like the overbearing person and order for you if you want me to. I don't care.
I panic. Anywho, so I think, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Testing.
Reluctant.
I was talking about maybe going to college. So I've always thought, like, not always. Okay, recently, I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll go to school for, like, business, or maybe I'll go to school for, the thing is, like, I don't know why I would go to school. It's just, like, you could.
Right.
You know? But I don't have any, like, after high school, college, other than
Bible school.
Bible school. I mean, I went to massage therapy school.
Right. So
I did that. I really enjoyed that. And then when I moved back to Washington, they're like, oh, yeah, no, we don't take any of that. It doesn't matter that you are good to go in a different state. You just start at hour one. And I was like, okay. So I've cooked before. I guess I could get back into that.
Well, you're still into that.
No, I know.
Oh, you're
but
saying
when we came,
yeah,
when we came here, so yeah, I don't know what I would go to school for.
have you thought about maybe one of those? It's not school, but it's like a learning site where you learn in modules.
Oh, I did do like a social media marketing class for like 3 months. It was like a 3-month class.
Mm-hmm.
I did that.
But you could do more of those over like Skillshare or there's other
Yeah,
sites.
I just don't know what I want to learn or like what would be.
Well, I think that would be the best way to learn because you're buying a subscription to that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a lot of different areas that you could learn stuff in, like writing or marketing or creative design or business or, entrepreneur stuff. Like there's a bunch of stuff on a lot of things where it could even just be like arts and crafts that you're learning versus like paying for a school where you're like going for this specific thing and you know what you want, whereas this is just a subscription and you can learn whatever you want.
Yeah, that is true.
Because then it becomes more like a trade school. And honestly, the more and more I hear from different business owners, they're like, yeah, a degree is great, but I also want to know that they've been in it and have real world problem solving skills versus a degree.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
something to think about.
I just keep thinking, like, what do I want to do? We're giving our church 5 years, and then we want to move out of the city. And it's like, well, what do I do at that point? What do I do that's going to make the money that I'm making now so that we can afford to live out there? So part of that is like putting my own designs out there, and maybe the Etsy shop takes off, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just a creative outlet for me.
Right.
But I've been having fun designing things, and it hasn't usually, like, when I do something creative, then I'm like, oh, maybe I could do this for a job. And then in the second it feels like a job, it's no longer fun. I'm like, oh, okay, now it's something I have to do. And it no longer is the thing that is like relaxing. And
right. At least on the bright side, like right now, it's not a have to situation.
that is true. That is true. But I'm thinking like, okay, well, maybe I should. There was time about like IT is always in a thing. I'm like, I just don't know that that's in the wheelhouse of like something that I care that much about.
Well,
I mean, I love that, but I don't. It's
we
just
had the number one training for being IT.
Mm.
The show. The
IT crowd. Yeah, that was
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
That's fun. That was a funny show.
That was a really funny show.
But yeah, so I guess that like I'm reluctant to start that just because I don't want to waste money.
Mm-hmm.
And
reluctant
I just don't feel like I'm good at school.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand. If you don't want to waste money or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But
Being able to like, oh, I want to be a teacher, or I want to be like, I always just wanted to be a mom.
yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, you have to choose a real job. And I'm like, oh, veterinarian. And they're like, oh, you have to put dogs down. I was like, no, I'm good. And I was like, oh, marine biologist. I have to do tons and tons of school. And I was like, ugh, that's not it either then. You know, like I just always wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
So now, like I love my job, but what do I do when that season is over?
Yeah. Well, we've talked about possibly doing our own place
like a B&B
of food
I
and
think
rest.
I think I would like a B&B. I think that would be fun.
Because we've talked about B&Bs, we've also talked about you catch it, we grill it, stocked pond restaurant. We've talked about a bunch of different things.
I just don't know, like with the way restaurants are doing right now. I just don't know that restaurant would be smart. I like B&B because it's already like you already own the home.
Right.
You just have to build a few more rooms.
Right.
You already own the home. You just have to
or
build
the
some
tiny sheds.
Yeah,
nowadays.
yes, I would love to do. I would either like to have a house like big enough to have a couple people stay in the house, or to have like tiny houses.
I think of those, I'd rather have the sheds. Just that way it gives separation of areas. Because I like people, but I also like
them to have their space.
Well, yeah, I like for myself to have my own delineated space, and then they also have their own space where they can just go and be away from everything.
Yeah. But yeah, I would love to have like little sheds around. Is that popping a lot? I'm sorry. I'm not adding air to it. I don't know why it's popping. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, it's still going. Yeah, I would love to have a couple cute little cabins. Stuff like that. And then everybody just comes in the morning for breakfast and they do their own thing for lunch, and then they can come in for dinner if they want or whatever.
Right.
Because I don't mind cooking for people. I like cooking. I like taking care of people. I like hosting. All of that. So I would love to have that.
Ooh, here's a thought.
Okay.
Because it could be B&B, but we could also market it as like a retreat center.
That would be a lot more space that we have to start saving for.
Small retreat center. Like a small leadership group type. Or something. Just something to think about.
It's just all like the electricity and all that. All the things that it takes to make that
off-grid retreat center.
Off-grid. Bring in your own gas.
Right.
Pull on your generator.
Go get your own wood for your
Keep it
stove.
cool.
But yeah. No, I was just thinking that, if I would like to, as far as I know, like to continue down helping people. Once the 5 years is up, that might also be a good way to possibly do that.
Yeah. I really do want to own my own like B&B. There's a couple shows. Like while growing up where they
like Gilmore Girls or like
no, because she
reality
works
show.
She works at a not reality. She works at a hotel.
I thought that was her hotel.
No.
Or her family's.
No, she works at the hotel.
Oh.
The Dragonfly Inn. There's like what's the Oh, what is the name? It's got Bailey Madison in it. The lady works at Bell Book and Candle.
Oh, it's the witch
It's
show.
it, I mean, kind of.
It is.
They
It's not Charmed.
Merrywick House.
It's the Merrywick House.
The Merrywick Girls. Anyway, that one. They live in like this old home, and it's a bed and breakfast. But then she also like has a little store in town where she sells like gifts and doodads and essential oils and tea and stuff. And I was like, oh, like that's up my alley.
Just a second.
I think I would love to know more. Like I know some of
The Good Witch.
The Good Witch. I know that
I told you it was a witch show.
yeah, but it's not like witchy. They just get like intuition kind of stuff.
Sure.
I
Witchy.
I like the whole like essential oil stuff for when things like knowing that hibiscus is good for helping to what crunchy granola?
Yeah, you crunchy granola hippie.
Like hibiscus is good for removing fluid from your body, which is good for your heart, and so is celery. And
we're into grounding, and we like to cold plunge, and
yeah, I like that stuff, and I wish I knew more of that, but the fear with that is, so I guess there's this one. I would love to learn more about like things that are good for your body and what they do, and it's like, things that God like gave us.
Mm-hmm.
Not against medicine, not against medicine at all. But I think that everything has its place, and I would love to learn that. The problem is that I am afraid that while I'm out in a forest, I'm like, oh my goodness, look, this is the thing that they said. That the whole, what's that one movie where he goes out into the wilderness with his van?
Is it Into the Wild?
Into the Wild, and he eventually dies from eating
the
wrong root, which looks like a potato, and he eats it, but it's really the poisonous one.
Because I had the stripes, and he didn't notice the stripes.
Uh-huh.
But that was spurred on by the fact that he didn't do his meat correctly, and his meat went rancid because he didn't get it smoked. Like, there was a bunch of different factors that played into that. Yeah. And we're not planning on being, like, in the middle of the wilderness.
Okay. Right, but that's still also the fear that I don't want to just go out and be like, oh yeah, I know this plant. Like, I know what I know, like the old man's beard, and we're going to do a thing. And then it's like, oh, well, that wasn't the correct usnea. That one is actually death.
Right. No, I'm not discounting your fear.
I'm afraid of that.
I'm not discounting your fear. I'm just saying, like, it's not our plan to be out in the wilderness bushwhacking.
That is also true. That is true. Like, but I think it would be nice to be like, oh, okay, well, if you, like, peppermint is good for soothing your stomach. If you,
ginger,
small dose and ginger, stuff like that. Like, just the common things.
Mm-hmm. Or the not so common things anymore.
Yeah. And that would be fun. I would like to take maybe a class in that.
I mean, I'm sure there would be something on one of them sites about that.
Yeah, probably. I should look into that. What about you? Let's talk about you for a second.
What? Nobody wants to know about me. I don't know. I did my reluctant thing. My most reluctant thing is like food. I don't really usually back down from anything like snowboarding or anything like that. I want to go and just do it. And then if I bounce down the mountain, I bounce down the mountain. That's just my kind of I always I'm more of like, let's go do it, and then I'm about 3/4 of the way into it, like, oh crap, I just messed up.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like, I have a job where I have to stand and I have to use my arms, and if I fall down this hill or this mountain and I break something, I don't have a job.
That's okay. We'll deal with it later.
Yeah, that's
If it
not how
happens.
my brain goes.
It's if it happens. There's a if it could not happen.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I didn't realize until the last couple years. I never thought of myself as like a clumsy person.
Huh.
Like never did. I
That's
was like,
interesting.
I'm not a clumsy person.
I've
Like I
known
don't
you.
get hurt
That's
all the
interesting.
time. Like, you know, some people are like, oh, she's such a klutz when they're talking about other people. And I'm like, oh. But then somebody told me, maybe you were like, you are clumsy. And I was like, no, I'm not.
I don't
Like,
think I would have said you
do
were
you
clumsy. I would have probably said, "Did you ever notice that you fall down a lot?"
did you ever notice? Did you ever notice that you have bruises all the time and that you run into things all the time and that you've had 10 concussions?
Yeah.
Did you ever? But I never like thought of that as like, oh,
You didn't remember
clumsy.
him after the
Okay,
chest cut a concussion.
okay. There was one recently that I saw on Facebook that I probably said last week. I was like,
Probably.
it said something about concussion. I was like, ooh, I didn't even remember that one. All right, Ebeth, you were right. 10 it is. Yeah. Any hoot. Just food with you, your reluctance with food?
I think of like with trying a new thing, I think. And maybe not necessarily trying a new thing, but I'll try the thing or I'll start to learn about the thing. And then it's just like, maybe not. Or like, oh, I didn't realize there was that much into it. So,
Like what?
um, some of it, like the drone pilot stuff,
Yeah,
there was a lot to that. I did complete my course.
you did.
Just haven't fully put myself out there to like go get jobs though.
That's true. And it's a little difficult because we have a ton of airports.
And rain, a ton of rain, which
A ton of rain and a
does not
ton
work
of
for the drone.
airports. So there's a lot that,
Yeah, there's a lot I didn't realize, like with being around like or 3 bases. There's a lot of air.
and then
that
a bunch
can't
of
fly in.
smaller airports.
Smaller municipal airports, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting for sure.
So it's not just as easy as, oh, I'll take a picture of somebody's house. Like, I'll take a picture of somebody's house if it's okay to fly there because your plane could get scrambled and you'll lose it.
Yeah, that's always fun.
So,
Which we did. Which I do know somebody that they got a little too close to a naval base, and their drone never came back. It just lost signal and was gone. So,
and we have had a couple drones around our house. So at our house, the street right in front of our house is like the line. And we have had a couple people.
yep.
It was earlier on when we owned the house. He would drive over and be like, hey, have you seen like a drone land in your backyard? And we're like, no, we haven't seen anything.
Right.
And they're like, oh, okay, because like I was flying it and then all of a sudden like I didn't have control over it and it kind of just started going and I don't know where it is. And we're like, oh, okay. But
Which also makes me think that they were flying it not in line of sight, which is a no-no anyway.
yeah. So, but yeah, there have been a couple times where we've been like, do you know where my drone is? We're like,
Yeah.
no. But it's probably because they got close to the street, tried to cross the street, and
Yep.
didn't go back when the warning went off. Because on your drone thing, it's got a little readout, and it says, like, you cannot fly here.
Right.
And our house is not, like, really close to the base, but it's within, like,
It's pretty
15
close.
miles.
It's
Within, like, 6 miles. So
It's
6 miles.
within a mile and a half.
A mile and a half.
Can't. Murray is restricted airspace,
Yeah.
and it's right across the water.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the lake. They own part of the lake airspace. So, yeah.
And then Lewis McCord's on the other side of that.
Yeah.
So,
There's another small air thing on the other side of a couple of the islands in the Salish. But yeah, there's just there's a lot of like flight
there's a lot of
stuff.
stuff.
A lot of flight stuff.
Yeah.
But that's fun. I was talking about my customers today. Chris Martin, the one I gave the Lapsang Soshang simple syrup to.
Okay.
He's from the other side, and he said he really wants to get into like drone, and he wants to get his commercial drone license and stuff. And I was telling him about some of the stuff, and I was like, and that you wanted to eventually get into thermal.
Yeah.
So you can help like HVAC systems and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Because then you can fly over and you see like where the heat is escaping or the cold is escaping, and then they know where to.
And then really cool
Fix it.
if you get in contact with like a fire department or sheriff's department, you can actually use it for
Fires.
search and rescue.
Yeah.
With fires, but also with people who get lost in the woods
Yeah.
and stuff.
You should ask Spody if they have like a program like that maybe you could like go learn with.
Yeah.
Because Spody works with the firefighters.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Shout out to Spody.
And he lives right in the area more where I would like to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe
A little Spodester. I like him. He's a sweet fella.
Pretty awesome dude for sure.
I did have a question for you. I saw it on a Tic Tac Patty Whack Give a Dog a Bone, and it.
Did we go rolling home?
Yeah. The question was, at what point, at how many owls is it too many owls? Like if you're walking through the woods and you see one owl, you're like, oh, that's cool.
Okay.
At what point is it no longer, oh, that's cool? That's kind of concerning.
Depends on who's with me.
Uh-huh.
Ah!
You're a funny guy. So is it like 2? Like if you see 2 is still pretty like, okay. Like, oh, there's a mommy and a daddy.
I don't know. It depends. It depends on what kind of woods you're in. It depends on what type of night it is, like how black it is, how dark.
I mean, even let's say in the daytime. Let's say it's daytime. You can see the owls. You can see your surroundings. 1 is enough.
Yeah,
1 is too many.
I'm always super leery of nature.
Uh-huh.
Just because they're wild beasts.
Mm-hmm.
They're wild beasts. Like by nature, right? And
they're by nature, they're wild.
They're unpredictable, so therefore I'm always on edge around animals.
So 1 is too many?
Yeah.
Oh, 1 owl, you wouldn't be like, oh, it's an owl.
No. You see, I have a very specific history with birds. Birds and I don't mix.
All birds?
And you know why birds and I don't mix?
Because you're pooped on?
Because they crap on me. So.
But is it just one kind of bird or all birds?
No, it's been multiple kinds of birds. It's been crows. It's been seagulls.
And then?
That's multiple kinds of birds.
Okay, just crows and seagulls.
Hey, I mean, that's more than one kind, so that's enough.
That is more than one kind. I got pooped on once in middle school. I wasn't wearing my own sweatshirt. I was wearing a boy's sweatshirt. And I was like, oh, no.
Well, maybe you should have been wearing a boy's sweatshirt.
Anyway. No, I was... Thankfully, it wasn't my clothes. I got pooped on. I was like, oh, shoot. Here you go.
But, no, and, like, seeing animals is cool and all, but, like, we live in a part of the country where there's some really big animals, and they can do some really big damage.
We don't live with moose.
No, we have elk that are
we don't
huge.
regularly see elk.
No, we don't regularly
side.
see them. But I'm just saying, like, I don't.
Like they're here.
I don't.
Bears.
Yes, I like to go out in the woods. Yes, I like to walk. But as soon as I see like big animals, I don't care about insects. I really don't care about small animals, squirrels and stuff like that.
What about regular deer?
Regular deer don't bother me.
Okay, so they're
because they're more skittish of me than I am of them.
What about coyotes?
Coyotes is a bit different because it all depends on the coyote because they can actually be vicious.
They can be vicious.
So, I mean, it depends on the type of animal, but once you get over a dog size,
Mm-hmm.
like a regular dog size,
Mm-hmm.
it gets concerning.
Okay.
And things that can fly over you, that's even more concerning. But the most concerning things
Yeah.
is those things that crawl on the ground without legs.
Snakes.
Yeah.
You don't like snakes or goats.
No, they have square pupils. It's the devil.
The devil.
Yeah,
I
know,
think they're
goats.
so cute.
No, they're so creepy with
They're
those square pupils.
so cute.
So creepy.
Oh my gosh, I love them. They're adorable. I like the ones that are just always like parkour.
You like the fainting ones.
Oh my gosh, I am a fainting goat.
Oh.
I would not do well if somebody chased me. I'd just be like, oh no, and then all the oxygen leaves my legs, and I just, I just topple right on over.
But
That's what it is.
yeah.
I don't know.
Too many owls. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it also has to do with proximity. Like if I don't see it and it hoo-hoos and it's like right over the top of me,
Mm-hmm.
I would be more concerned at that point.
If it hoo-hoos.
If it hoo-hoos,
Not just hoots, if it hoots, if it hoo-hoo.
you know what I'm saying. Or if it's like a further away, then that's like less concerning. Like, oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm like,
If you just saw it
walking
in
by
a tree.
and it was like, hoo-hoo, and I look up,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
I would be like, that's cool. I don't know what my number would be. And I was like, okay, well, like 1, 2, I'd be like, oh, cute little couple. 3, I'd be like, oh, a family. 4, I'd be like, okay, maybe I'm where I'm not supposed to be. 5, I'd be like, oh, walk carefully.
Like, when did I walk into the Hooters?
Turn around. Is that funny?
Yeah, because owls are hoot. Never mind.
No, I understand. Is that funny?
It's not funny to you?
No.
Wow.
Your reaction is what's funny. Yeah, I think maybe 4 is where I would start to get a little nervous. And then 5, I'd be like, I think I don't belong here. Don't think we're alone now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it just with owls, though?
No, it was just
Would
the
you
thing.
be okay with, like, 4 snakes?
No, I am not okay with 0, with like 1 snake. 0 is exactly where I'm at with snakes. My brother used to have a snake, and I sometimes would be so brave, and I would hold it. And sometimes I was totally fine, and other times I was like, no, if her tongue is licking me, she's not, she's smelling, like I understand what's happening. She was smelling me, and she was blind, so it's not like she had a lot of other senses to go on. She just was smelling me, and I was just like, please don't, please don't smell me with your tongue. So
That's kind of gross. Like, smelling with the tongue.
that's how it happens. I don't. Why does she have why do they have nostrils then if they don't smell with their nose?
Maybe it's just for oxygen.
Oh,
have
they're
no
nose
idea.
breathers, not mouth breathers. That's why they've got nice jaw lines.
Yeah, that's it.
It's because they can.
They have nice
Unhinged.
jaw lines. Never mind. Words.
Words.
Not wording.
I was like, what other things? Sharks, 0 amount. If I'm swimming and there's a shark,
I
like,
was gonna say fish.
I
Like,
can,
it's 0 amount. Like sea creatures, you're not a fan of at all.
I like to look at them when I'm on the outside. I
like
don't
to eat them.
like them when they are in there with me.
No, you also hate when you can't see the bottom of the water.
But also don't like when I can.
Right. You're just like, give me a concrete pool and I'll be fine.
But I love the ocean, and I love, like...
Do you, though?
Like, I do.
Do you like the idea of the ocean?
I love the ocean.
Do you?
I do. I
But do you though?
do.
But you don't like to be in it with the fish. You don't
I
like.
mean, yeah.
Not really.
I mean, yeah.
No.
Mother's Day, we go out in there and we go body surfing. I like that.
Yeah, but you can't see the fish.
Yeah. They probably aren't there because it's so
You're
lazy.
assuming that they're not there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, it also goes like, there's also a limit that we're willing to like swim. Like, there's a ratio that we're willing to accept as okay to swim with like dead bodies.
Yeah, or trash.
Yeah, like if there was a swimming pool and there was a dead body at the end, you wouldn't be like, oh, that's fine, I'll just swim over here.
Depends on how big the pool is.
Right, but like, you'd be like, oh, that's not great. But like, you know that there are people and like
I don't
dead
think people
creatures and
actively
stuff.
think about it.
I do.
You do, but I don't think most people think about that.
I'm just like, oof, I guess I'm okay with this ratio when I get in the water.
I like that I've come to the realization it's just like a seafood gazpacho.
Gazpacho.
Like a cold seafood soup.
Yeah, that is accurate. It is. Except nothing inside is salty. They're sitting in their own brine. I don't think anybody's answered that question for me yet.
Well, it's got a salty broth.
Yeah.
So, and seaweed is salty.
It is.
And it's like the vegetable. The soup.
A little salad.
Mm-hmm.
A salad and garnish for your gazpacho.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So true.
That's so true. So, I don't know. I think my ratio for dead things swimming in, like, I gotta just not think about it being there.
I think that's probably best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if there were, like, dead
Signs,
fish
like
or...
a counter when you went to the beach.
Oh, that would be really rough.
That'd be creepy.
Yeah, that would be really creepy.
What if you were like what we learned about this last week, where you're at a beach and you find out that there is a beached whale down the way? Are you still going in the water afterwards?
I mean, it's down the way, so probably.
But how far down the way is okay?
So I can't see it. Outside of mind.
Oh, is that's the limit right there.
Yeah, I would probably be so sad that there was a dead
for sure,
beached
for
whale,
sure.
but I don't actually think that I would go into the water. Because I would just be like, oh no, baby.
Yeah.
It wasn't alive. It was a story we heard. It wasn't alive. It
It
had
wasn't
been
like
passed.
firsthand.
Had been deceased for many a day. Which is really sad.
Yep.
But you don't know why it washed up.
Don't
Maybe
know.
it was its time. It was,
Mm-hmm.
going to heaven. And it was like, the land is heaven. Look at those people with their legs walking around. It was like a Little Mermaid situation.
I want to be where the people are.
Yeah. And so it just like, I was like, I'm dying. So I'm going to go up where they are.
Yeah.
And we were like, hi, little buddy.
Hey, little big buddy.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. Yeah.
But yeah, so that is what we have for this week.
He's like, and
End
we're
on a-
done.
end
And
on
we're
a happy
done.
note. So go ahead and hit the subscribe, like, all that fun jazz, the bell, so you can see
Come on, ring that bell.
when this comes out weekly.
Everybody say.
Alethea did talk about a Etsy shop. We could put a link for that in the description, so you can check out her designs.
Ring my bell.
And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.